What are some of the most common issues with Game Boy Color handhelds, and how do we fix them? Here are 5 of the most common problems along with the easiest fixes that you can do to get them up and running again in no time. Most of these involve taking apart the handheld, so you'll need some tools along with some cleaning supplies like isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips. You may even need to do some soldering too, but we'll get into that soon enough. First up is a very common issue where the handheld just won't play games. Many times it just won't power on, which we will talk about in a moment. But there are plenty of other times where the text is jumbled or it just won't load up a game at all. The fix? Clean the cartridge slot pins or clean up your game. I picked up this Eliminator cleaning card a long time ago, but there are several cleaning kits you can purchase to help clean the pins. These normally have a pad inside of them that you wet with alcohol and then rub against the pins to get them clean. I like to use a Q-tip when done and wipe out the extra debris from the pad so I can continue to use the same one again and again. Pins will sometimes oxidize over time, and if you tend to carry yours in a backpack, or even had it in storage for a while, it's not a bad idea to do a quick cleaning before a play session. Number 2, no power. You left some batteries in your Game Boy and they popped, causing acid to ooze all over the battery terminals, which in turn changed them into small blue cream puffs. If the corrosion isn't that bad, most of the time you can just clean them up with some IPA and Q-tips and you're good. But in some cases, the corrosion spreads like wildfire and literally destroys your handheld from the inside out. Nothing can be done when it looks this bad, but let's not get it to this point. If you can scrape and clean the terminals before it spreads, that's the best case scenario. Or even remove the terminals from the board to let them soak in some vinegar. This will neutralize the battery acid and clean the metal so that they can be reinstalled later. Now, if it still looks really bad and the terminals are literally falling apart, you're going to need some replacements. So how do we remove them from the board so we can either clean them or replace them completely? There's one large solder blob on the backside that needs to be wicked away from each terminal. After the solder is mostly gone, you'll need to carefully bend the clamps of the terminal out of place. I like to use the small pliers while heating the opposite side to just slowly wiggle them out. Then you can clean the area and soak or replace the parts, which is basically the same process only in reverse. Just make sure to seat them fully and have them as upright as possible so that when you solder it in place, you don't need to bend them too much to get them to fit back into the rear housing. Number 3, no power again. Your battery terminals look great, but when you flick the on switch, it still does nothing. That's because the switch is another common point of failure. Dirt, debris, oxidation, and even oil from your hands can get inside the switch assembly over time and cause it to fail. The good thing is many times it just requires some cleaning to get it working again. Take a Q-tip and soak the end in some IPA and drip it directly into the switch. Do this several times until the alcohol has completely filled the little switch box. Then slide the switch back and forth rapidly for about 30 seconds. The pins on the inside of the switch will rub against the contact points and clean themselves. You can always drip in more IPA when you think you're done to remove as much debris as possible too. This normally does the trick, but sometimes these do need to be replaced. And while you're here, you might as well do the same process to the volume wheel. Drip in some IPA from the side and push on the base while moving the wheel back and forth. This will also help out our next most common problem, which is audio issues. The speakers of these units aren't perfectly encased in the housings because it has holes in the front to let the sound out. Because of that, dirt and even liquids can get into the speaker much easier and cause problems. Take a much drier Q-tip that was still dipped in some IPA and carefully rub the top plastic part of the speaker to clean it. Sometimes you'll find little metal parts embedded here because of the magnet in the speaker too. But be careful not to push too hard. You want this plastic part to stay intact, and you don't want the alcohol to go underneath it either. Once it's clean, test out your handheld again and see if the sound is improved at all. If it's still a little faint, you'll want to clean up the headphone jack next. I like to use the small tweezers and some cotton from the end of a Q-tip and scrape the inside of the jack to clean it out as best as possible. Basically, if the jack is corroded or has debris inside, the circuit is broken and it cuts the sound going to the speaker. Once you think it has a good connection, test it again to see if that helped. If it's still very quiet, you may want to consider replacing the speaker completely. To replace it, detach the 2 wires going to the rear of the speaker. Then grab your new part and tin each side of the rear pads with some fresh solder. Using some tweezers, slide the wires into each of the new solder blobs while heating them. Pretty simple fix, and you should have much better sound going forward. Number 5 is screen burns. Now this is not an easy fix, but it is pretty common and I at least wanted to mention it. I have a separate video on the topic since it's a bit harder to repair, but just know that screen burns can be fixed. It just takes a lot of time to remove the outer layers of the screen and replace them completely. If you'd like more info on it, check out this video right here. Number 6, bad or no button responses. These can be super annoying, but just like many of the others, a little cleaning goes a long way. The pads inside get full of debris which can then cake onto the contact points of the board. This builds up over time and causes the buttons to be either really hard to press or not register the presses at all. The easiest way to clean the buttons and pads is with some warm soapy water. Use something like dish soap to remove the oils and a toothbrush to scrub away the debris. Also scrub the contact points with some IPA until they look bright and clean again. Optionally, you can use a fiberglass scratch pen too, but that's only if you really want to be fancy or if it has a lot of debris on it. This normally does wonders, but in the off chance that you have some failures after cleaning, it could be that you have a bad contact point or a bad trace going to one of the pads. With this unit, the left pad was a little messed up from corrosion, but I got it cleaned up, yet it still wasn't working. I tested the traces surrounding the area with a multimeter in continuity mode, and all of those tested well too. I had to go further out from the button pads to test those traces and found a break that I verified with another unit. Trace repairs aren't super easy, but they are doable. I have another video about fixing a N64 game with a similar issue if you'd like a deeper dive into that too. But you're basically just bridging the gap between 2 points with a patch. I found 2 test points that should be connected and applied some flux to the far end and soldered some thin magnet wire into place there. I then did the same process with the lower test point by the affected button pad. Cleaned the area with some IPA to remove any leftover flux, and tested the pads to make sure everything was working again, which it was. When finished, I covered the entire patch with some Kapton tape for protection, and began my reassembly of the handheld. I hope you enjoyed this quick look into some of the most common Game Boy Color problems and their fixes. I have several other videos on my channel discussing other repairs, so if you're looking to fix something else, or just enjoy seeing the process, be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next fix.